Let us conclude aggregate demand and aggregate supply. In last video of this chapter, we have seen what are demand components, supply components, what is aggregate supply, and even the linear consumption function we have seen. Now in this video we are going to deal with the meaning of consumption function and saving function. Let us start. What is consumption function? Consumption function states the relationship between consumption and income. It explains how far the income and consumption goes. As per Professor J.M. Keynes, consumption expenditure of household depends mainly on their current income. As the income rises, even the expenditure also rise. The other factor influence like interest rate, taxation, amount, wealth, etc. are not much concerned. Over here in consumption function we are going to concerned about income only. As per Keynes, when income increases, consumption increases, but in a lesser proportion due to saving factor. Consumption function is also known as propensity consume. Propensity to consume refers to a schedule which shows the level of consumption at different level of income. Now the consumption function is to be bifurcated into two parts, that is APC and MPC, that is average propensity to consume and average propensity to save. Now the consumption function can be explained through the average propensity consume and marginal propensity to consume. Now APC ratio of total consumption expenditure to total income. In other words, I can say that APC equals C by Y, where C refers to consumption and Y refers to income. Over here, let us understand with the help of example. For instance, if C equals to 60,000 and Y equals to 1 lakh, then APC equals 60,000 divided by 1 lakh, that is 0.6. That is, households spend 60% of its income on consumption. Let us understand the properties of APC, that is APC equals to 1 at break even point. When C equals to Y, APC would be 1. APC can be less than 1 in case where consumption is less than income. APC can be greater than Y, where you can see consumption would be greater than income. APC falls with the rise in the income. It is because the proportion of income spent on consumption keeps falling. Now APC cannot become zero. The reason is that there is an autonomous consumption happening. Even if you are not earning anything, there is autonomous consumption. Now let us understand what is marginal propensity to save. As you have seen, that is APC is equal to C by Y, whereas MPC equals to delta C by delta Y, that is change in consumption divided by change in income. For instance, over here the consumption is 60,000, income is 1 lakh. The consumption grows from 60 lakh to 1 lakh and income grows from 1 to 2 lakh. What is happening is, how you calculated delta C equals to 1 lakh minus 60,000, you will get 40,000, and 2 lakh minus 1 lakh, you will get 1 lakh. As a result, when you divide delta C by delta Y, that is 40,000 divided by 1 lakh, answer is 0.4, that is 40%. Now there are some features of MPC, that is value of MPC ranges between 0 to 1. If the entire additional income is spent, then APC equals to 1. If the entire additional income is saved, then MPC equals to 0. MPC of developing countries is more than the MPC of developed countries. Now let us understand with an help of example where the income grows from 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5,000. The consumption rises with the rise in the income, that is 1 to 1,800, from 1,800 to 2,500, 2,500 to 3,000 and from 3,000 to 3,200. Okay, now how to calculate APC, that is C by Y, that is 1000 divided by 1000, you will get 1000. Then 1800 divided by 2000, you will get 0.9. And 2500 divided by 3000 APC, you will get 0.83. So you will get 0.75 and so you will get 0.64. Okay, now APS equals to 1 minus APC. This is also one of the formula to calculate, that is 1 minus 1 you will get 0, then 1 minus 0.9 you will get 0.1, then 1 minus 0.83 you will get 0.17 and so on. Now AMPC, that is delta C by delta Y. Over here the difference between second and one consumption. How to find delta C, that is 1800 minus 1000 you will get 800, whereas income is 1000, that is 0.8. How you get 1000, that is 2000 minus 1000. Okay, and so on. You have calculated MPC. When the income is 3000, marginal propensity to consume is 0.7. Then when the income is 4000, it comes to 0.5 and 0.2 as well. Now the value of MPC and MPS tends to be 1, right? When you don't have to find MPS, so you can subtract directly the value of MPC from 1, you will get MPS, that is marginal propensity to save, right? So you will get 0.2, 0.3, 0.5 over here, that is 1 minus 0.8, that is 0.2, 1 minus 0.7, that is 0.3, 1 minus 0.5 you will get 0.5 and 1 minus 0.2 you will get 0.8. This is how you calculate. Please understand, when I talk about marginal, is it consumption or saving, you need to apply delta on it. Suppose if I tell MPC, you have to write delta C by delta Y, and whereas if I say MPS, that is delta S by delta Y. Even if you don't subtract it from 1 and you calculate delta S, delta Y, the values will still be the same. Let us quickly understand what is saving function. Saving is consumption. Income has two parts. One is consumption, other one is saving. Or else how can you find saving is income minus consumption. Saving is income excess over consumption, whereas average propensity to save is S by Y and marginal propensity to save is delta S by delta Y. When income increases equals to, when income increases, there will be even increase in the saving, but the rate of saving would be less as compared to the rate of increment in the income. Now let us quickly go through the properties of MPC and APC. Marginal propensity to consume is the change in the consumption with the change in income, whereas average propensity to consume is this, that is C by Y. Marginal propensity to consume, that is delta C by delta Y. 0, the value of MPC ranges from 0 to 1, and as you have seen, that is MPC plus MPS equals 1, APC plus APS equals 1. APC refers to average propensity to consume plus average propensity to save equals 1. Now let us quickly understand what is investment. Investment are the addition made to the existing stock of capital. Investment expenditure increases the real capital stock. It is the creation of new capital assets. Now let us understand how many types of investments are there. There are two types of investment. One is autonomous investment. This kind of investment are generally made by the government, and it depends, the investment policy majorly depends upon the government decisions on fiscal policies of the government. It does not have profit motive. It is not affected by the changes in the level of the income as well. Whereas induced investment is motivated by expected profitability and a level of income in an economy. There is a positive relationship between investment and income. It means that if there is increase in the income, then induced investment will also increase. They are profit motive kind of a thing. It depends upon the level of income as well. In case you have any doubt, please let me know. With this, I declare end of the chapter of aggregate demand, aggregate supply, and related concept. Thank you.